Good afternoon, everyone, especially to our viewers online on YouTube, Facebook, and all the other platforms. We welcome you to another AY program, and you are seeing us from the Oak Glade Seventh-day Adventist Church. This afternoon, we have an important topic to look at. Today, we are focusing on behaviors of sexual predators, more so grooming. And we want parents to be warned that someone, some family member, a neighbor, maybe even a close friend, may be grooming your child to sexually abuse him or her. Let me ask you, what do you know about grooming? What do you know about sexual abuse in children? You can just put something in the chat. My members who are here. So Sister Jackie is going to come to the microphone because my audience in virtual land won't be able to hear you. You want me to repeat? Okay. So Sister Jackie is saying that children are easy prey, which is why those predators go after them. All right. Thank you so much. All right, so first things first, what is child abuse? Since we're going to talk about grooming, let's take it back to child abuse. What is child abuse in your own words? Ella Hamilton? It's abuse of children's rights, okay. All right, anything else? Doing something harmful to a child. All right, so I hear the social response coming up. So it's harm to a child that will affect the child socially, emotionally, psychologically, and possibly physically. All right, so we're using our local definition straight from Sissoko. It's child abuse is any act or failure to act. And this is the part where most times, failure to act. So it's any act or failure to act on the part of a parent or a caretaker which results in death, serious physical or emotional harm, sexual abuse, or exploitation of a child. Any act or failure to act which presents an imminent risk. Imminent there means just about to happen, something that is going to happen, right? Which eventually brings harm to a child also counts as child abuse. So it's not just the act, but if I see that Sister Jackie's mother take up the cutlass and is about to give her 2 good slaps out of that cutlass, and I fail to act, you know that I have contributed to the abuse of Sister Jackie? Hello? Because I did not say anything and I can be charged. And I think in our Jamaican context, it's not my business. It's not my child. I don't want to get involved. But if you don't get involved, you are also liable. You are the one who was neglected that child, even though it's not your child biologically. So we are correct regarding the definition. Now, abuses against children includes physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, and here this one, neglect. Yes, so that also counts as, so you go, that is abuse. You have neglected the child, so it is classified as abuse. Based on that definition, stick a hand up if you were abused when you were younger. You have been abused. Your parents leave you for hours.
Then
and gone about their own business.
Then Sister Livine.
Yes.
I was going to speak on that because I do believe that a lot of us, if not all, especially growing up in our inner city communities, we were left unattended, were neglected. You know, parents gone to work.
Just the grace of God that saved. Well,
especially
during the summer.
I recall there were times when, my parent had to work. I won't call anyone specific. But, as children, you were left to basically take care of yourself. And you would be told, stay in the house, eat the dinner at that time, lock the door at that time, don't go out there, and all of that stuff. And though now that we are educated, we realize it was a form of abuse. Back then, to the best of their knowledge, they were doing what was
fine.
best.
He was
yes.
fine because
mommy and daddy had to work.
The neighbor is
and the
there.
neighbors can watch you.
Yeah, an older person who lives next door is there and can look out for you, but should look out for you. But now that I am looking at the definition myself, I think that I may fall into that category. No, because I'm thinking about it right now. I don't leave them on the road or whatever. But the thing is, I know I'm feeling like, and I'm live. The thing is, I have to work face to face. So what would I call that? Because it's corporate neglect. So I go to work and they have to do school online. So they are home and doing school online.
Question.
But I would be away from them. So they're at school, so they are not neglected. Their teachers know that they are there.
Question.
Teachers are, okay, so I'm not, so it's the, all right, I feel, Sister Jackie, you want to come and join me? Because I'm feeling like, yes, I need that support. Because the truth is, I have to go to work.
But I know based on what we just discussed, that's a very thin line, very, very thin line. But I was going to say it's neglect, but I'm not sure if, I don't want to get technical, because based on the situation, you have to work. The child is supposed to be at home, virtually attending school. You can't take them to work. But would that be considered within the definition, and also within the current situation facing Jamaica? We're looking at Jamaica only now. Would that be considered as neglect? It's not not.
We would need to get a definition of neglect, because I'm thinking by neglecting, I'm not thinking about just being away from them physically.
You don't care.
I'm thinking about I've not provided them with any food. I have. I've not provided them with food. They're not engaged in anything. I've just left them there, and I've gone to be idle. I've gone to a party. I've gone to... So I think that we need to give a definition, a proper definition for neglect before we can call this abuse. All right. So let's continue. So now we're moving into what is there for sexual abuse, because our topic, our program today is focused on that. And so I wanted to go back to what is abuse, and then we're now going to focus on what is sexual abuse. Now, sexual abuse is engaging, and I want us to listen carefully to this one. It is engaging or enticing a child in any form of sexual activity, Sister Jackie. Any form of sexual. So if I'm engaging the child one, or if I'm enticing the child with or without the child's knowledge or approval. And that's big. The child cannot give consent. So if the gentleman rubs his hands on the child's breast, yes, and the child has no knowledge that this is something that is wrong, it is abuse, then the child doesn't know, but the adult knows. And so it is sexual abuse because the adult knows. Right? All right. The child also, and I want us to look at this, the child cannot give approval. A child cannot give approval. Even if the child says, yes, Sister Jackie. Even if Lashana, God forbid, at age 14, and I am a man, and I say, babes, I like you, you know. Babes, I like you. And you look X way. And I would want to engage you in X act. And she say, you know, I like you too. Yeah, man. And she giggles and, yes. And she carries on like this. And I engage her as a man. I am wrong. Because at 14, she cannot consent. Can we turn on the green mic, please? No, the definition goes on. It includes fondling. So now we're getting the details now. It includes fondling of the genital area. It includes oral sex, because there are some males who abuse children and they perform oral sex or have the children perform oral sex on them and they don't think it is abuse because there is no penetration. So there's no penetration, so we're fine.
I haven't had sex.
I haven't had sex with her, so she can't call police on me. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not abusing her or him. Yeah. All right, so let me go back. So it includes fondling of the genital area, oral sex, vaginal or anal penetration by a finger, penis, or other object. Are we clear? Are you understanding? Am I giving you too much details? I have to give it to you because it is out there for you. It is out there. We don't want it to not be in the know. Right? Now, it also includes exhibitionism. Now, this one. No. You know what is sex? You know that this also classifies as sexual abuse because when you intentionally display your private areas, Anil, to a child, and you do it intentionally because you want the child to become comfortable seeing this body part so that when you are ready to make your advances, the child will be okay, the child will be comfortable. That is also sexual abuse. Because you are showing the child this part. And the female, we're not leaving out the females because we know that there are females out there who are also, yes, exhibitionists, they're doing it. So they allow the children to look at or be a part of the production of pornographic material and sexual suggestive behaviors towards a child also classify as sexual abuse. Sister Jackie.
Hold your thought on that. As I think about something that I know our parents or persons older would do to children, and it is abuse, because I don't know if you've ever seen it or heard it, where some older person would say to a child, "Come to play a little veggie,"
and
the other person, they slap them on the bottom and that kind of thing. But that behavior sets a wrong trend or pattern,
right,
because you're grooming the child that if another adult or that same adult say, "Come and touch a little veggie, your veggie I get fat and your bam this and your whatever," it's you're beginning to groom the child to feel comfortable that
desensitize the child
is wrong if uncle, daddy, or grandpa, brother,
neighbor,
shopkeeper touches
teacher,
me, auntie, sister, thank you, Anil, touches them and say these words to them, it is okay, and it's not.
All right. So I hope we are all clear on the definition of sexual abuse and all that it entails. It's not just penetration. It's exposing the child too. All right? So some signs of sexual abuse. So how do I know that my child is being abused? I have three major things here, three general things. Number one, let me just ask it, put it in a question. Have you ever heard that young person describing some sexual acts and
very
positions
detailed
and all these things? That child is exposed.
Overly exposed.
Overly exposed. So if a child is able to give you a detailed, sophisticated understanding of sexual behavior, that is a red flag. That is a signal that the child is being exposed sexually. Next, a child's engagement in sexual activity not appropriate for the child's age. So where you have the 14-year-olds and the 15-year-olds and the 12 and the 11s who are actually in sexual relationships. I remember, I can't say a name or anything. I can't do that. And the child was having sexual relations from primary school.
When they can tell you about a backing up or the singing and that kind of thing. And I don't know why you went so far as to 14 and 12. Because I'm 8, 9, and 11-year-olds who are sexually involved. Yes. I know probably more about positions than I do at this age.
Oh, yes. Oh,
I have a question.
Just give us 1 second. Let's finish this. And then the final one. And these are general signs. There are sleep disturbances, nightmares. So if your child can't sleep all night long, tossing and turning, and they're having nightmares, it's something that you can. It's something for you to begin to check it out. Check it out. Begin to ask the child some questions. All right? So these are general. We have some more detailed ones later on. Have a question from the congregation?
I wanted to ask if then, for the kids at basic school, I recall when I was teaching, you would see things happening in the classroom or even at the parties. Would you use that as a red flag? And I'm saying that based on the culture that Jamaica has, or music that the kids listen. How then can you really differentiate that the child is being groomed or is being taken advantage of when, in fact, our music that they listen to tell them so they must back up that girl or jump in that one or all of that stuff?
And joking, all right, I hear you. Well, hooking, I get you. Good, very good question. And the way that I would address it is, if it is that the child is only dancing, because some of them are just following what they are seeing.
Modeling the behavior.
Home. But here is where I'm going to draw the line now. If that child is able to explicitly explain to me sexual content, sexual activities, then no, I would begin to question it. Because the dance, yes, I see you backing up. I see you doing all the other, whatever the song, so you're doing it, following instructions. But then no, if you're able to give me a proper description, as we said before, detail and sophistication, also, understanding.
If it is that outside of that classroom party that we're having, right, that child is displaying that kind of behavior, because you need to probably have 2 or 3 things to say, to really say correctly.
Right. One alone isn't enough.
One enough is not sufficient to say that the child, you have to watch the behavior outside of the classroom. And to Sister Christine, signs of sexual abuse is also knowing your child. So if my child, say I use a Xavier, for example, who is not as talkative as Zaire, switches now and become very talkative and aggressive, something is going wrong. It doesn't have to be sexual abuse, but something is happening.
Yeah.
Or it's on the reverse where the child was loud and active and now has become with signal, a red flag that something is happening.
Right. All right, so let's continue. So we're going to look now in details at some physical symptoms. Now, parents, you're bathing your little young daughter, you're bathing your son, because anything can happen. Now, pay attention. You're going to wash the little, as Jackie said, veg. I don't know, the vagina. I use the word, and I used to let my students, when we say the word sex in class, I say the word. And I would say the word 10 times, and I let them say the word sex. I do it because I want them to be able to understand that, hey, this is something.
Be comfortable that it's not something bad.
And you use the right words to describe your private parts. You don't tell me about chocho and the thing and the tomato. No, it's vagina and penis. And I remember doing a sex talk with my class, and when they said they did it, I said to them, I do it all the time. Every single year when I get the chance, I do it. I said to them, your parents didn't look at each other and you appeared. Your mother and father never look at each other and then you're born. That's not what happened. Really? No, that didn't happen. Because we still have
parents. Never carry what you're telling like Auntie Christine, the white bird.
No, I remember that my grandmother told my mother that her belly was full. So when she was pregnant, her belly was full. She ate on her belly full. All the time. And then when the baby came, an aeroplane brought the baby. So if we are teaching the children that, then if somebody's abusing them sexually, we won't know. When they get pregnant, they're not aware, because the baby come in the plane and they're not going on any plane, so where baby going to come from? Get it?
Because parents are scared of having this sexual discussion. Some parents don't even want them children to know that them have sex. So they're afraid to have the conversation.
Some parents don't even kiss in front of their children.
Because kissing is a sin. The word sinful.
Well, I am sinful. All right, let's go. So some of the physical things. A bruise in the genital area. You're bathing baby, you're bathing little boy, little girl. You look, there are a bruise in the genital area. Laceration of the labia. And I hope the ladies know their body parts now, ladies. In the vagina. Perineum. You know what the perineum is? The perineum is That is a little section between your anus and your vagina if you're a female, or the area between your anus and your scrotum if you're a male. If that section is bruised, it's cut, then you know something is, what could be happening to cause that to cut. So that's a sign. And sorry, viewers, I'm getting the congregation is killing me with laughs. All right, irritation of or pain in the genital area. So you just a little touch, they start to, mommy, or don't touch there, or they're in pain. Why is Lashana laughing at me? Vaginal discharge, because at that young age, the children shouldn't
have a smelly discharge,
no,
or
not
no
at all.
Discharge at all.
Not at that.
Not at 3 and 4 and 5. So if you're seeing a discharge, or if you're seeing, or it is smelly. Something is wrong. Somebody putting something there.
Well, they're not supposed to put there.
And it's causing something. So we have to check those things out. Sometimes it's the children who also play with their genitals. So don't jump to the conclusion that they're being abused, because some young children, 3 and under and 3 and above, do play with their genital areas and put things there.
I am laughing because I remember, quick story. And my brother was, when we were younger, my mother was in shock. My brother's penis was just swollen. It turned over and it was swollen, and we couldn't figure out what was wrong. But you know, we discovered later on, this boy is learning about his body and he's experimenting. And it's the wall he was experimenting with, so he was pushing too hard on the wall. That's the only way I can put it. Pushing too hard on the wall, and it caused that to happen. And it was there for it took a while to get better. So nobody was, and it wasn't any female, but he was the one doing his own little experiment. Yes. All right.
Do experiment.
So another sign is painful or difficult urination. So Amelia goes to the bathroom to pass her urine, at a 10-year-old Amelia, and it's just burning. Mommy, this is burning. Mrs. Sister Williams is not going to say, Pete, nigga, sit down. Not Nadia. No, that's not what Sister Williams is going to do. Sister Williams is going to call Amelia and say, Amelia, did anybody, why would this happen? Did you put something in your vagina? No, Mommy, I didn't. When you were by Sister Johnny, did Sister Johnny's son touch you? Ask. But you have to be careful how you ask, though, because sometimes as children,
sister, that's a wrong thing.
It's a wrong thing to do.
You don't say, did Sister Johnny's son or did Sister Johnny, as she said, do anything, because children will lie.
Of course.
If they feel pressure that you keep asking them, they will lie and say yes.
Yes.
So when you're asking the question, keep the questions open. So we get them comfortable from before, and we would have spoken about bad touch and good touch
yes.
if we're doing that as parents. So we need to ask them, did anyone keep it open? Don't call anybody's name.
Very good point, Sister Jackie. We're not ready for you yet, Anil. Anil wants to ask a question. We'll soon take you, Anil. Hold on, we're coming. We're going to deal with the behavioral signs. So the behavioral signs, guys, so those are the physical things you can see or they can tell you about. So the urine is painful, there's a cut, there's a bruise, those things. So the behavioral ones, and you mentioned some of them already, Sister Jackie. Nightmares, vomiting. All of a sudden the child can't eat anything. You're just vomiting, he's just vomiting. Child's stomach sick, they can't handle what is going on with them. They arrive to school early or they leave late. So they come to school early because they don't want to be at home, and they go in late because they want to spend fewer hours at home. Poor academic performance. So when I reached this one, when I was putting the sides together, I remember this young lady. I fell in love with this girl. Yes, really love the girl. She was on, there's a show that Yendi Phillips has on a Sunday morning. She would get stories from persons who have gone through abuse or they've just changed their lives. And I remember this young lady, she was a bright little girl. Her parents had split. She was living with, I think the mother left and she was living with the father. And that story just broke me. Like the Sunday morning, I just felt so broken. I don't know any other word than that. And for this. And she was explaining that she was spending time with the uncle. The uncle was abusing her sexually. He had sex with her repeatedly, and she just got dance. She wasn't dance, but she just couldn't focus on anything, nothing at all. And she shared her story, and I just felt like, oh my God, this is what can really happen. It's not a myth to say that if a child who used to do the work well, all of a sudden stop doing well. Something is happening, parents, and we need to look out for the signs. We need to look out. You're looking at me, Sean, something happened? Oh, because there's a change in your academic performance? Okay, because I saw the look, I was just checking. All right, refusing to stay alone with a father or any other male person, any female. They don't want. Once upon a time, Xavier used to love staying with daddy, Sister Jackie. And now you're just going to the shop up the road. And Xavier, Mommy, I want to come with you. I said, stay with daddy, man, daddy. And he itch up on you and not moving.
So the child becomes clingy. You know what is at the heart of this abuse for me? Is really knowing your child and paying attention. Knowing your child. You must be able to pick up if there is a change with your child.
That was mentioned.
What?
Jackie did mention it before. Let's move along. I'll soon give you the question. All right, so acting nervously or aggressively. So there's a switch. It's either the person is now acting as Jackie had said before, behaving disruptively towards adults, especially towards their parents, because it's like something is happening and you're not seeing me. What's going on? Lying, running away, and these are like extremes. Using alcohol or drugs. Showing sexual self-consciousness, provocativeness, or vulnerability to sexual approaches. So the person is open to and not being resistant or behaving promiscuously sexually. And many times we judge young girls, Jackie. We judge them and say, them body, how much that she going to be with, and she be with this person, she gone to that person, she gone to that person. And it's not a relationship. These persons are not looking to form relationships, But they're acting out what is going on with them. And so this is one behavioral sign that children are being sexually abused. Some children withdrawn from social relationships. We're coming to you, Anil. 1 second. Appearing mentally disabled. Yes, man, appearing.
Appearing spaced out, not being able to connect, like.
You can't, every question that you ask, they can't relate to you anymore. Yes, I'm on live. Let's focus. And demonstrating regressive behavior. The person is not progressing. The person is almost going backwards, regressing. All right? Now, we're going to go to Anil's question, and then we will go into a special music by Sister Keisha Manning.
Okay. So my question is, based on the information that is now privileged to adults, not even parents, adults, or generation, do you think parents are now able to pick up on these signs easier? Do you see any difference? Because you guys are parents, so you could assess it.
Not much difference, really.
So is that the information is not?
I think the information is underutilized.
It's underutilized. Okay.
That's a very good response. Also, culture too. Right. I think culture plays a lot in it, and giving respect to the elderly. So you can't say, Mommy, Ella Hamilton touched me in this place. Because, how dare you?
He was born in the church.
Yes.
A man of God.
Right. So those things. So we shut down our children when they share certain bits and pieces of information with us, or we play blind to it. We're going to get
we
to
don't
that.
want to deal with it.
And we don't want it to be true.
So it's neglect or naivety.
As we said, it's the failure to act. Can be the failure to act. All right, at this time we're going to take our special music from Sister Keisha Manning.
night on the news, a story about a little girl beaten black and blue. Jesus thought I'd take this right to you. Dear Mr. Jesus, I don't understand why they took her mom and dad away. I know that they don't mean to hit with wild and angry hands. Tell them just how big they are, I pray. Please don't let them hurt your children. We need love and shelter from the storm. Please don't let them hurt your children. Won't you keep them safe and warm? Dear Mr. Jesus, they say that she may die. Oh, I hope the doctors stop the pain. I know that you could save her when you come here back again, so she will never have to hurt again. Please don't let them hurt your children. They need love and shelter from the storm. Please don't let them hurt your children. Won't you keep them safe and please don't let them hurt your children. They need love and shelter from the storm. Please don't let them hurt your children. Won't you keep them safe and warm? Won't you keep them safe and warm? Won't you keep them safe and warm?
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Beautiful
Thank
song.
you. Yes, beautiful. Go ahead and share the comment, Sister Jackie. What you're hiding from? Come on.
I said several things. I want my parents, I want us as parents to really understand how much trauma can be done to your child's life because of abuse. You could lose your child. I have spoken to quite a few young ladies who are lesbians now because of sexual abuse, whether it came from the father, or uncle, or brother, and now they are so scarred and so hurt, they are so pained that they can't see themselves in relation to another male. I know young ladies who are promiscuous just because I know one right now that we're trying to get out of self-harm thoughts or self-harm ideation. She really wants to hurt her. She can't live with her because of the thoughts of the things that have been done to her in 2021. And it's really, really, don't judge them when you see them to say that person is a lesbian and that person is this or that person is promiscuous, because you don't know the story. So let us keep them in our prayers, really. Pray them up. Try and help them if you know them.
All right, thank you so much. So now we're actually, so what we did just now, I'm going to use Pastor's favorite term, Sister Jackie. We were building the foundation. So now we're going to put on.
The first row of
I'll
block.
put on the first row of
Coming
block.
out
We'll
of the
put
foundation.
the first floor, or the ground floor, Ella Hamilton. That is the correct term. The ground floor, so after we build the foundation, we're going to put on the ground floor now. All right. So this is where this is actually where we want to go. We want parents to recognize what are some of the things that predators do in order to get the opportunity to abuse your child, not physically, but sexually. That's where we are staying. That's where we want to be this afternoon. And so I want to make it very clear that a person who sexually abuses your child, it's not by coincidence. It's not a one-time thing. It is planned. And I'm going to say it again. Anybody who abuses your child, am I looking straight into the camera? Yes? It is not a mistake. It is not by coincidence. The person planned the entire thing. There are stages to grooming, and that is what we're going to look at in a few moments. But before we look at what are the stages to grooming, we're going to look at what is grooming. And we're talking about grooming your child to abuse them sexually. Sister Jackie, you want to read the first one for us? Go ahead. Sister Jackie? It's there. Go ahead.
Grooming is when someone builds a relationship, trust, and emotional connection with a child or young person so that they